पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले तत्पादपद्मं महि सन्निधत्स्व। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वरोगताजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे। श्री वादराजगुरुवे नमः। सर्वे गुरुभ्यो नमः। It turns out that, at least in the US, today is Chaturdashi, the 14th day of Bhadrapada Shukla Paksha. There are those of us who have been directed by some elders to perform a vrata which we refer to as Ananta Padmanabha Vrata. Ananta Padmanabha Vrata, one of the things that strikes me is that usually, as you know, with any vrata, there is a story attached to that. Those stories are not to be taken literally, but it's like a fable which might have some historical background. But the story should be taken in the spirit in which it is told, and we have to look for some adhyatma behind that. And one thing that is somewhat interesting to me is that just so happens that this time around I was born in a family belonging to Kaundinya Gotra, and Kaundinya Muni shows up in the story that goes along with Ananta Padmanabha Vrata. That is just, by the way, type of thing. In itself, that doesn't have a lot of significance. And of course, that's not the reason we do it either. But just like in the story, you look for adhyatma, it is more important to look for adhyatma by the way, whenever I use that word adhyatma, as you know, we even what we refer to as tapatraya, the three types of elevated energy, tapa, fever, things that can go up, which could prevent us from functioning normally. It could be physical, it could be spiritual. These three types of tapas can affect all of us at different points in time. And it could be that it comes one at a time, or it could be something that comes all at once. Forget about the tapatraya. If you look at adhyatma, You look inside this Sharira, you see all these Devata Shaktis from different places in the hierarchy, what we call Taratamya. There are those who are Indrabhimani Devatas, even higher order Devata Shaktis that control the mind, the intellect, and even beyond. But they say in Bhagavata, it's very clearly explained that if the mind is oriented in that direction and it doesn't give up and it keeps focusing on that constantly, at some point in time, if we have the yogyata, it is possible that our eyes, not the physical eyes, not even mental, but in Jnana Anandamaya Swarupa, those eyes can open. That's the only way to actually see Bhagavanta. Everything else is imagery and symbolism, and sometimes even illusion. We think we saw something, actually we won't have seen anything. We look at pictures, we look at murtis, we go to temples, we look at saligramas, we do so many things. And today, the specific focus is on that form. And again, it is all symbolism. It is symbolism to help us focus our mind on that particular aspect of Bhagavanta, which we refer to as Ananta Padmanabha. If you look at, there is a vastra they sell. There are two things people normally get for this Ananta Padmanabha Vrata. One is a vastra on which there is a picture of Ananta Padmanabha, and usually that is draped over the kalasha. And another thing you notice that is somewhat special about this Vrata is they use red colored threads. You know that in many of the pujas, we offer a thread sometimes with a specific number of knots. Worship that as a prasada and we tie it on our wrists to get us that energy. Ananta Padmanabha Vrata, that particular thread is red in color. It's not a coincidence. And if you look at the imagery and the symbolism on what is on the vastra, the thing that should strike us are the following. At least this is just my thoughts. The thing that strikes me first, just like when we talk about the Ganesh Katha, the thing that strikes you first is How can an elephant head be on a little boy's torso? Similarly, when you look at Ananta Padmanabha, the first thing that should strike us is that if I were to have a bed, a cot designed for me, I'm not going to make it hollow in the middle. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I lie down on a bed or a cot that has only the frame but nothing in the middle? That doesn't make any sense. You'll just fall down, right? So why is it that Bhagavanta is lying down on Shesha? Why is it empty in the middle? And Shesha is coiled in the shape of a oblong, like a oval shape form. And you notice that there are 3 levels of this coiling, if you will. And the hood, the head on the top, why does it have 5 parts? Why is the tongue sticking out of these snakes? Why is there a Kamala coming out of Bhagavanta's Nabhi? So many questions. So many questions. If one were to contemplate on this form, one is reminded of Srishti. We can only imagine only Bhagavanta, Lakshmi Devi, and of course Brahmavayus as the initial people to whom the Vishwa is revealed, along with Saraswati and Bharati. What these Adi Jivas see, God only knows. Even today, forget about Srishti. We are even incapable of looking at what's in the solar system, let alone the universe. So, to look at symbolism and somehow think that, oh, we understood something would be foolish. However, that doesn't mean that we should stop ourselves from contemplating on these symbols. Because only when our mind is focused on that, the physical mind, when it is focused on that, the wise ones tell us that eventually it is possible for you. It is possible for you. There is hope that no matter how many janmas it might take, at some point, it is possible actually. To the extent that we can see. Just like the universe agreed, I will not be able to see the whole solar system. That's true. But I can see my house, I can see my surroundings. If somebody were to go up in the air in a plane, they can perhaps see the whole city. An astronaut in space might see the whole planet. It is our yogyata on how much we can see. It's not that you cannot see the universe. We all see the universe. The question is, what is our yogyata? How much of the universe can we really see? Similarly, when you look at Bhagavanta, in that after realizing yourself, after that self-realization, the question is in that Jiva Swarupa form, how much can that Jiva see of Bhagavanta, knowing fully well that he or she can never really see all of it because it is infinite and we are finite. But the good news is that when we see according to our yogyata, that aparoksha jnana has to be completely satisfying, because it's not whether you can see all of it or not. Hare Krishna. But our sight, our capacity is complete. Whatever I'm capable of seeing, I've seen it. So I'll be satisfied. It's all that I can see. And therefore, there will be no yearning for seeing more. So this Ananta Padmanabha, there are so many Devata Shaktis. That entire process of creation, that Srishti, and the greatness of Bhagavanta, who is just lying down, his Satya Sankalpa that creates this universe is beautifully symbolized in this form of Ananta Padmanabha. Why Shesha? Why is there that contact, that apparent contact between Ananta and Shunya? The intersection of the infinity and zero. That coming together of Ananta, the source of all energy, and Shesha as a seva to this Ananta Shakti, creating that Sankarshana Shakti, creating that energy to hold things together. You can create things, you can even bring them together, but if they don't stick together, there is no universe. Even at the atomic level, you can bring the electrons and the protons and the neutrons together, but if they don't stick together, if the electrons don't stay in their orbits and they just fly away, which they, but that Sankarshana Shakti, that Akarshana Shakti in the nucleus will hold the electron down in its orbit so that it balances the natural force that tries to pull it away. So to start with, it's not some person lying on a bed. This is the intersection. This is the intersection of infinity with zero, if you like mathematics. You can think of it as infinity and zero coming together to create the infinite numbers that lie in between. There may be a system where we just have 100 digits. Suppose I have 1 through 100. In that little universe, too, even with there's just 100 units, it cannot be created if you take away infinity and zero. Ananta has to be there. And you say, why? Well, because the only way, Srishti, the only way you can create a number system is if you have a system where if you add a 1, it becomes the next higher digit. Similarly in Srishti, just like in this binary system, some of you asked me for that essay I referred to last time by Mary Bully. I sent it to some of you. Whatever she says, the thing that caught my attention is not so much of her opinions, and they are her opinions, whatever they may be worth. At least she is sincerely expressing what she believes is the source. Mathematics in the Western world during the 1800s, whose origin she claims was inspired by the philosophy of the East. What better thing than this intersection of infinity and zero? But these two entities, if you will, tattvas, these two things, infinity and zero, they have special properties. None of the integers can have such properties. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 1 cannot be 1. No other number can have such properties. So at the time of creation, the question is, where did this Akarshana Shakti come from? Where did it come from? Yes, Bhagavanta is lying on that. But where did it come from? Where did it originate? The electrons can be attracted to the nucleus, but the electrons and the protons, if they don't have opposing charge, there won't be attraction. So the guna, the triguna, coming from Chit Prakriti, Mahalakshmi, is an absolute essential requirement for even this Sankarshana Shakti to exist. To let us know that that is the case, there are those three coils. In Shesha, on whom the Sheshashayi is lying. It's oval in shape because the result of this niyama, that is this Prakriti niyama, nature, Mother Nature. So, Prakriti and its niyama coming in contact with the infinite. Perhaps we should say the infinite coming in contact with that. That is the creation. So, out of that came this Akarshana Shakti, the force of attraction, which created that oval shape people refer to as a Brahmanda. The universe, out of that came that egg. So the Brahmanda exists within the force of attraction as per the niyama of Prakriti. And separated from, that's why I said that nobody can lie on a cot with just a frame and no bed. Ananta is lying not on the bed as in contact with the bed. So he is not lying on Shesha. There's a slight gap in between. He is above these three coils. He is aprakrita. He is beyond nature. Yet, without Sheshashayi, there is no Shesha. So the force of attraction as per nature, bound by the laws of nature. The question is, what does it create? Often we talk about Garuda, Shesha and Rudra. These Devata Shaktis of the highest order. These three sort of working together, if you will, to keep balance. The knowledge that takes you upwards, Shesha, the humility that pulls you down, which allows in a steady state, by the grace of Rudra, to interact with the rest of the universe. It's sort of like a balloon filled with helium tied to a string which is tied to something that is heavy and pulls it down because of gravity. So out of that comes these hoods, if you will, behind Bhagavanta. Think that Shesha is protecting Bhagavanta. That is the most ridiculous statement one can make. How can Shesha protect Bhagavanta when he surrenders to Bhagavanta? How can anybody protect Bhagavanta? What is he to be protected from? Which number has the audacity to become infinity? Which number does infinity have to be protected from? Ananta. So these Panchabhutas are created. So there is that, in that symbolism, in a hidden way, there is also Rudra, and Parvati, of course. So that number 5 is there. So if you look at this picture, look at all the things you see. You see 0, you see infinity, you see 3, you see 5. Why the form of a snake? The Sankarshana Shakti. Why does it have to be in Sarparupa? That Rupa, anybody who's seen a cobra knows this. For one thing, the way it moves is not in one direct line, but it goes to the left and goes to the right, goes to the left, goes to the right. That's how it pushes itself forward. And the second thing is, when it bites, when it hits, what goes in could be toxic, it could be poisonous. So in this Panchabhautika Prapancha, the Panchabhutas and the Prapancha. Everything that we see, we interact with, it seems to change direction constantly. And not just that, when we get totally immersed in the Vishaya, we could be bitten by the Visha. In Ananta Padmanabha, there is yet another thing. From the Nabhi, the Kamala, the Padma, is coming out. Nabhi for Bhagavanta doesn't signify Nabhi for us. Our Nabhi is an indication that at one time we were in our mother's womb when we were helpless. Out of their karunya, our mothers actually carried us and took care of us. It is that indication. But Bhagavanta's Nabhi, in whose womb was he? No one. He is Anadi Ananta. No beginning, no end. So surely his Nabhi cannot signify our Nabhi. His Nabhi only indicates that instead of me being inside something, he is actually outside everything. So he is that covering. He is the one who protected me. He is the one who gave energy for the whole universe, even for the Adi Jiva. So out of that comes the Kamala. The whole material universe and beyond comes out of that. This beautiful, beautiful Adhyatma, this beautiful symbolism is what our wise ones wanted us to think about, perhaps. When we do this Vrata today and worship Ananta Padmanabha, relate on the greatness and the beauty of creation. The enormity of this creation, which we cannot possibly even understand. The greatness of this Prakriti Niyama that makes this happen. The confluence of infinity and zero that allows a number system to exist in between. This Ananta not doing anything is Satya Sankalpa. He just says, let it be, and it happens. Yeah. To contemplate on Shiva, Rudra, Mahalakshmi, the Brahma Vayu, the Padma, when we do puja with this contemplation, it makes some sense if we tie that red string on our wrists. Because that string what will that do for me? Well, in that Chaturveda Purushartha, Kama, the desire to do things, the desire to keep going forward, the desire that would stop us from lethargy. What a shame! What a shame if we are given so many resources, a functioning body, a functioning mind, food to eat, place to sleep, and yet we don't move. We just sit there. We just sit there doing nothing. That lethargy cannot exist in the same place where this thread is on the right hand side. When you are so taken aback with wonder at this beauty of creation that allowed all of us to do what we do. How can we just sit around doing nothing? Just tying a thread on my hand doesn't do anything. Just putting a coconut and putting a vastra on that and putting some flowers on that doesn't do anything. But to truly focus on this beauty of creation, don't you think that is what people wanted us to do? There is a custom too. What they would do is, after they did the puja, they would put one string on Bhagavanta whose prana pratisthapana was done. They would take that and throw it in the river. And the custom was that, so next day some guy goes to the river to take a bath or something, and when he dips and comes up, suppose he just finds this thread stuck to him. They said, oh, that means you have to do this vrata. Even in that, they use symbolism. Why did they have to throw it in the river? They could have just thrown it on the ground somewhere. It's okay, when you're taking a walk, if you see it, you have to do the vrata. No, they threw it in the river. Because this flow of energy from above, from a place we don't even understand, we are incapable of understanding. This energy keeps flowing. That energy cannot flow if this intersection of Ananta and Shesha were not there. Their thing is, this energy that is flowing, in that energy you dip yourself to cleanse this soul. That cleansing, not of the body in the river, but in that energy that flows from above. that started flowing at the time of creation. That's why you say Brahmanta Gurava Sakshat Ishtam Daivam Shripadi. Acharya Srimad Acharya Santame Janmani Janmani. So who is this mantra? That brings this energy to us. Brahmanta Gurava Sakshat. It is coming directly from that infinite source. And the Adi Jiva. Who else can channel it and make it flow towards us? Seriously. This is not a fanatical Madhva speaking. This is a scientist speaking. Where else can it come from? And as I dip myself to cleanse my soul of all this Visha and Papa that I accumulate day after day after day after day, one vrata I can do at least once a year, if not every day. Just once a year. Just one day. Not even the whole day, for a couple of hours. They're telling us, hey, sit down, contemplate, and worship Bhagavanta as Ananta Padmanabha. Worship him as Ananta. Worship him as Padmanabha. Contemplate on him at the time of creation. It is just contemplation. I close my eyes. In my mind, I only see that picture on the vastra. You only see the symbol, not the meaning behind the symbol. Go deeper. Go deeper. Contemplate on that oval shape. Contemplate on the three coils. Contemplate on the five hoods. Contemplate on the Padma. And of course, at the end, contemplate on Ananta. Just like Ananta in his infinite form is lying on Shesha. What can I do? What can I do to go towards Ananta? I've said this before when I've used the number system as an analogy with some of you to teach these things. Any number, any integer, you divide by 0, it tends towards infinity. The size of that number does not matter. 2 divided by 0 tends to infinity. 1 billion divided by 0 also tends towards infinity. So it is not my capacity. We can all of us, like Bhagavata says, in that Swarupa, we can see Bhagavanta as per our yogyata. But without this contemplation, without us also, we cannot go lie down on Shesha. But we can invite Shesha to reside in our hearts. We can invite him to come and give us humility. Because without that, there is no Garuda, there is no Veda Purusha, there is no Veda Jnana. So if we invite Shesha, and the Jiva, this Bada Jiva, interacts with the Shesha, it too someday can tend towards infinity. Bhadrapadamasa, taking firm steps towards that. Chaturdashi, Chaturdashi, 14 is 10 plus 4. That Chaturveda Purushartha that can only come by surrendering to that entity which has Dasha Prameyas. I hope and pray that all of us, at least for a few hours once a year, can contemplate on this Ananta Padmanabha form of Bhagavanta. And I hope, just as Bhagavanta took care of Kaundinya Muni, even when he made mistakes, he will take care of those of us who say our Gotra is Kaundinya. Krishna Paramastu.